welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast. And again, I know we are in the off season of no football, club football anyway. Club football is over a week into it, and the transfer window's open-ish, kind of. Bit of drama there. We're going to touch on that today as well. There'll be a quick, it won't be a long show, but we'll touch on that. Breaking news today. We're going to touch on breaking news today, but concerning Sky Sports and legendary commentator Martin Tyler and him leaving the brand that is Sky Sports, basically, with immediate effect before next season gets underway. Transfer news for the men and women's team, and touching on last night's England game against Malta, even though I didn't cover it live with you guys. It's a Euro qualifier. It's Malta. It's just like, it played out like I did, and I fell asleep, so it may as well. It's a good thing I didn't do it live, because I would have fallen asleep live on air. But welcome to, obviously, anyone that's new to the channel, welcome. If you are new, do smash that like button, do subscribe, and do smash the like button and share the content around and all that jazz, as we always say. But before we get into things, 1 second, just got to make sure everything's okay. A-okay my end. The sound. First, we're going to get into the first headline. Is one, as I mentioned already. First, the news that's broken today, basically. Martin Tyler, as I say, legendary commentator here in the UK. In the UK for 30 years of service to Sky, by the way. Just to add that to the conversation here. 30 years of loyalty and dedication to the sport, and obviously Sky. It's been announced this morning that he is stepping down from his role as commentator and leaving Sky in general as of immediate effect. So it allows Sky enough time to go and find his replacement, basically, for the season ahead. For the ones that live outside the UK and don't know what this is all about in terms of Martin Tyler and Sky Sports, like the UK version of Sky anyway. Martin Tyler, as I say, legendary commentator. 30 odd years since day one of the Premier League being brought into play with Sky and all that. He has been the main man in terms of commentator. He has been the main commentator for Sky. Any big games, no matter what, even when they had the FA Cup, when Sky used to have to watch the FA Cup, Champions League and all that, he would be the main man for the big games of that week, etc. And as the years have gone by, when obviously Sky have lost their rights to FA Cup, Champions League and all that, and all they've got is like League Cup and Premier League, it's slowly but surely become a one game a week affair for him. To basically, he'll be the main commentator for the League Cup final, for example, and he'll be the commentator for whatever Sky consider that weekend to be the big game of the weekend on the Super Sunday. He was the main guy. But obviously he's getting on. As I say, 30 years of service. He wasn't getting any younger as you can expect. But it was sort of coming as well. Commentating on World Cups too. Yeah, exactly. Not the English ball. Yeah. But I'm just saying more. Talk about obviously with Sky. So because he's leaving Sky. Oh, Sky never covered the World Cups. But yeah, as he's getting older now, it sort of tells in his commentary. No, again, there's nothing to be ages about this or anything like that. It's just that in terms of because of all the traffic, all the research you've got to do, all the travelling he has to do up in the gantry, especially in the autumn, winter months, and it's bitter cold up where they have to sit and do the commentary team and all that crap. It could. I don't know what it is. That could be a contributing factor, but for me, I felt like he lost the passion for the sport and his job over the last 3 to 4 years. Like, it's more so this. It's been noticed a lot more from other people this season, just gone, in terms of his lack of enthusiasm when he commentates. As I say, he's only doing one game a week on a Sunday, 4:30 till 6:30, give or take. And he's just like they say, the enthusiasm hasn't been there. The passion not there. He has his favourites, and he doesn't hide it. The clear where he could hide it, he was able to hide it before somewhat. He hasn't been able to hide it to the point where people on Twitter and TikTok are setting up videos mocking, pretending to be him basically, and giving us a visual look of how it sounds he is when the goal goes in. For example, when Arsenal played United this season at the Emirates, we won 3-2. This is the first time I saw this video, by the way, and this guy, he basically, as I say, mimicking in terms of miming the commentary of Martin Tyler, but also giving us the visuals, the visual aspect of how it sounds. Basically, like he's pissed off, he ain't happy after this, that, and the other. Because how it came across, this guy gave us that visual basically. And week by week, he kept doing it. I think it's more people realised, and I think Sky have cottoned on because of the 30 years of service he's given to Sky. Like with Wenger, with Arsenal, they've allowed him to go on his terms, as in to say he's left, he's stepping down, he's retiring, whatever. But again, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I'm disappointed he's gone, because for the last, especially this season, as I say, this season, especially just gone, I've been calling for him, Gary, and Jamie to be binned off from Sky. In terms of Mike Tyler, because of the reasons I've mentioned, he just the enthusiasm, the passion, and everything he had about 4 or 5 years ago, up to 4 or 5 years ago, has slowly and surely just dissipated, basically. And it is what it is at the end of the day. But that's one down, 2 to go, really. And as I say, I'm not at any moment. If it was a few years ago, I'd be like, oh, okay, end of an era. I'll pay my respects in that sense and move on, sort of thing. But as I say, the last 4 or 5 years, where it's been so evident about who he likes, what teams he likes most in terms of we commentate a game. And if it's one of them teams is one of his favourites, he won't hide it whatsoever. And yeah, it's come to a head now. I said I've been calling for it. I've started jumping on the bandwagon as well. As I say, there's 2 down. I mean, that's 1 down, 2 to go. But it all comes from me. This story will be just a bit of background as well. I'm a bit worried about something. But this sort of comes from last night. Late last night, there's reports going around basically that Sky in general were going around their respective departments, in this case the sports department, and basically telling people to take the pay cuts or piss off, basically, to the point where one report says that Bianca Westwood has been sacked because she wouldn't take a pay cut, along with a few others along the way. Jeff Shreves is currently is in the midst of a back and forth between Sky, because apparently he's been told, this is according to reports, by the way, that if he doesn't take a significant pay cut, not a little pay cut, a significant pay cut, he'll be let go as well by Sky. And then obviously this morning we're hearing the news about Martin Tyler, so I think that's sort of coming together there. But it is what it is. I've got a few of you in the chat already. Got Mark, Tom, and Hawkwind. Craig's in the chat as well. I saw he's coming in the chat before. We're getting the transfers in a bit, mate. Worst commentator out there. Well, him and Stone. I saw your comments in the group chats there, Mark. And oh my God, don't, please, Sky, whatever you do not go and rehire Sam Matterface to be the main guy now. Don't make the mistakes that ITV made, please. Give me strength. I said it last year. It's like last season, just gone. There's only one guy. There's only one guy for the job. But Sky won't pay the money. If if they're forcing current staff to take pay cuts or lose their jobs, then there's no way they're going to pay this guy. But there's only one guy that the fans will be happy with coming in. That's Peter Drury. You have to go to the States now on your knees and bend over backwards and pay the money. Pay the fucking money. But they won't do that. If the fact that they're rumoured to be going around saying pay cuts or doesn't bode well. So I am, even though it's, as I say, I'm relieved in one sense that Martin's gone. With all due respect to him over the 30 years of service he's given to the broadcaster and the sport in general. I am at this moment in time slightly crapping myself of who they're going to bring in to replace Martin for the main job. Oh dear God! But it is what it is on that side of things. But yeah, pay cuts would be illegal. It's a way they're going about it as well. It's like either take it or we're sacking you basically. Afternoon rises. Emerson, big up Emerson, by the way. The mini exodus of players has started. We both know more to go before the window ends. And that's from Martin Tyler, a good commentator, but as of late, his commentary has been, as I was saying, in my opinion, his commentary has been nosediving, so we say, for the last 4 seasons. 4.5, give or take. That's in my opinion. People might disagree with me, but we go back and listen and notice when it really dropped off the cliff. You'll understand what I'm saying in that side of things. But as I say, it was a good up to 4.5 seasons 5 years ago. He was great at his job. There's no issues in that side of things, but he fell off. He started not hiding who he favoured over what team, this, that, and the other. And the passion just slowly, over the 4.5, 5 years, has slowly and gradually just disintegrated into what we've seen this season. What we've heard this season from him. When he's been commentating at 4:30 on Sky Sports for the main event of Sunday on every match day and all that. It's been there evident. I actually heard Martin Tyler actually supports Woking, but the narrative is he supports Maitland. I don't care who he supports. It's just the fact that he's, in terms of Premier League teams, in terms of obviously he might favour a certain team and like look for a certain team, etc. He doesn't really hide it, and it's annoying. So it's been annoying, and as good as he once was, the last few years haven't been that way. I'm relieved in one sense he has gone, but as I say, with Sky and what they're doing, I'm slightly concerned of who they're going to get in to replace him. Cheap and cheerful by the sounds of it with Sky. And all I'm going to say is look who actually runs Sky. It should not be going cheap and cheerful when you see who runs Sky, if you don't already know. Adrian Dunn and Jamie O'Hara. Oh, for God's sake. For Sky, that'd be fucking... Yeah, actually, yeah. Jesus Christ. Or Jim White. Bring Jim White back. Put him in the commentary box. Fucking there'll be a field day. Just every Arsenal game slagging us off. Put Keys and Grainer before... God. No. We're meant to be going forward, not backwards. Jesus Christ, Tom. Oh, my days. Let's go for go back. Oh, bloody hell. All chats all over the place. It's often the way people welcome change until they actually get it. I'll welcome it, but I'm scared of with Sky and how they're going about it. It's how Sky are going about it, which is like as a UK what do you call it now? Customer of Sky. We want to call it idiot, whatever. I'll get deals, so I'm not really complaining in that sense. Packages and all that. So, what was I saying? But as a Sky customer, paying customer, and all that, it's a bit. I'm a bit concerned that the way they're going about it, and obviously now Martin's gone. It's like, but if Martin had gone in normal circumstances, without the reports coming out last night about the pay cut side of things, wouldn't be an issue. I would be like, okay, bring it on. Let's go and see it bring in now. But the fact that we got the stories last night, it's leaked up everything to the morning, and Martin's gone. I am concerned that they're going to cheap and cheerful. Whatever is the cheapest for them. More anti-Arsenal commentary. That's what we want. Says Mark. No, what it might motivate us as fans as fans. Sorry, as fans to come together and just say, "Fuck you." We're getting behind our team. Most of us, anyway. There's still people out in Spain that doing their thing, even in the offset when the season being done. Still doing videos, uploading, and playing 24/7. So, oh dear. But no, he's passionate. He loves the club. He wants what's best for Arsenal. Yeah, that's why he always fucking sucks the club off, even during the season when we're top of the league. So, the captain scores. I must slag off the captain. Actually, you know what, Sky? If you really want to go anti-Arsenal, go and hire. There's a guy in Spain has a YouTube account called Saint Gunner. Look it up. He'd be perfect for you guys. And I think the Sky 100 teams would be Jermaine Beckford. So ex of these players, basically. David Pratt and Tony Yeboah and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Oh, goodness. Oh, dear. And we're going to move on from this now. That's a bit of a... just sort of get my opinion, get the story out, to give my thoughts on it. And, yeah, as I say, there's only one person, ideally, that Sky can only go and hire. That's the ultimate upgrade that every football fan will be brilliant, jumping for joy for, and that'll be bringing in Peter Drury. That means you now have to go and pay out his contract with the Americans and NBC or like that. So you've now got to pay out his contract to get him over. So, but it's worth it, mate. He's fucking worth it because he still has the passion. He still has that desire. Look at what he was doing in terms of his job when he was being the main commentator for BT during the Champions League when BT got the Champions League and all that before he left BT in the last year or two. And then you look at the clips that we're getting every now and then throughout the season when he's doing NBC commentary for any of the games. Brilliant. He's absolutely fantastic. He does his homework still, and he still has that passion, that desire, that love for the game and for his own job, basically. Roy came for balance. Drury's bullshit poetry. Behave yourself, Tom. He's the only decent commentator we've got nowadays. He's just a new deal. Doubt if Sky can afford him. Yeah, that's my point. But they'd have to go cap in hand now to buy out his contract, basically. Our next story is going to talk on transfer, but this is the main talking point. It involves Arsenal. Alicia Russo, as of yesterday, officially is leaving Manchester United's women's team. She has been their striker for the last 3 or 4 years, since they've come up. But 4 years, I say. Since they were put into the WSL, when they got rejigged a few years back, she has been Man United's main striker, basically, main player, in terms of the actual striking outlet, basically, whatever. She's also part of the England setup as well. She's now been integrated to be England's number one striker, as we're going to see, hopefully in this World Cup. Personally, you guys know, I've been calling for her and Ella to be brought over since last summer, last summer. Let's say last summer because it's all getting confusing now. Back end of this season, but anyway, I've been calling for them to get them both in. Ella, obviously, she would do the contract throughout the season, so that's a bit of a stopgap in terms of that being happening anytime soon. Maybe next summer, maybe We don't know how long our contract is. It seems to be what women's contracts are on 2 to 3 years, give or take, 3 at most, never more than that. But Alicia Russo, as of yesterday, the club and player both confirmed she is to leave Manchester United. She did a video thing on her socials, saying her farewells to the fans and all that, and seeing the future. And then literally within 5 minutes of that news breaking, it then officially broke that we are asked that she is set to join Arsenal, but she can't officially announce it yet. Even as Sky are trying to do their bit here in the UK and say it's done and dusted, nothing can be officially announced yet until the end of this month, when her current contract comes to an end with United. So on the 1st of July, we'll get the announcement officially, basically. Because the contract they do your math. I'm happy. I'm happy about it because, as I say, it's strengthening depth in all aspects. Look, we've had the issues we've had this season as well. Just gone. We've had no Beth, we had no Viv. Everything was put on Stina, McCabe, and Caitlin for most of the season. In the end, because of the lack of rotation, we couldn't do because of all these injuries. And that's what Alicia brings to us. She won't be she's coming knowing she's not going to be a guaranteed starter in the sense of she's going to have to step up. She's going to have competition, basically, be it with Viv, Stina, or Caitlin, for example. She's going to have that competition. But Sky have been. I'd take Anna McCoy to that Sky, actually. I would absolutely love it. Arsenal financially doping. No, we got her for free. So shush. We're not doping. No, we ain't Man City. Behave yourselves. 115 chances income. We're not Man City. Behave. But no, I'm ecstatic. It's literally, as I say, it brings the depth. It's added quality, and it lessens our chances of having the situation we've had this season. Because we've got Beth and Viv coming back at the start of this next season coming. We've got Stina. We've got Alicia. We're going to have Caitlin Ford. We're going to have a full array, and we're doing everything we can now. We're not just building a good enough squad to compete. This is showing we want to dislodge, in terms of domestically, we want to dislodge Emma Hayes and Chelsea from this title winning one they're doing for the last few years. We want to dislodge that and knock them off their perch for good, basically. The main contributing factor for us getting this year, in my opinion, is the fact that we went to sign her in January for the world record fee as well. Not just a domestic fee, record fee, with a world record fees. 400k initially was an initial offer. A second offer went over 500k. And Man United had the option of basically, this is deadline day, by the way, we did this. And basically we gave Man United the option at the time of take this fee, go take this money that we're going to give you. We'll have a world record signing in ourselves. You can quickly go and reinvest that, hopefully, into your team and push on for your season, or you lose it for nothing. They basically told us to piss off both times and didn't want to risk strengthening us halfway through the season when they're going for a title themselves at the time. Even though we was in the predicament we was in, they didn't want to risk strengthening us any more than what we were, injuries aside. And it's come back and bit them in the arse because they didn't win the league, they didn't win the FA Cup, they bottled the league. If the men bottled the league, Arsenal men, then the Man United women's team bottled the league as well. Then in the WSL, because they were top from day one until literally the penultimate game of the season. So there's nothing going there. So yeah, they lost. They didn't win the league in the end. Chelsea won that, as we know. They lost the FA Cup final. Chelsea won that. Even though Chelsea were poor in that final, they found a way, and that's with Russo in the team. So I think Russo's just like, "No, I'm out. No, you're not giving me what I want either. I'm out." And the fact that we went in January and made our intentions perfectly clear that we are seriously interested in signing her, even back then, that's what's gone in our favour, in my opinion, in terms of her now choosing us, because she had a list of options, by the way. The two teams from the American League. She had us, I think Leon, and there was another, and I'm trying to think who it was now. But basically, she had a lot of options. I think even Bayern Munich were looking at her at one point. I don't think it's currently now, but they were looking at her. But she had plenty of options to go abroad. And as you guys know, I've had Lottie on here, and I've been on other channels as well, of Ange and all that, and Emerson as well. I've been up a few times, and they've had their doubts in the closing season, thinking that because obviously of her connections to United, she wouldn't want to stay in the WSL. No matter what happened in the title race, that she wouldn't want to stay. She would want to go abroad and do something elsewhere. Or if they did get Champions League, she might stay another year. I was quite confident. I was the only one that was just like, I think we will, just because of how we went about things. It's come to fruition now, touch wood. And it's, as I say, brilliant for the team. And 23 is available, because obviously Mano Iwabuchi has been let go in the release list for Arsenal. So 23 is available, or she's got number 8 or number 2 if she wants, or any other number. But they're the 3 numbers that have been made available this summer now, along with others. But as I say, she's coming in knowing she ain't going to be starter. Not guaranteed starter in the sense of I'm an England striker. I know this league inside out. I'm starting every game. No, she's got competition. She knows that. That's the one thing she didn't have at United. Competition. She's going to have that now. She's going to be playing Champions League for all of us, assuming we've got via our 2 playoff games we've got to play. Champions League football. Arsenal got the Continental Cup to decide to defend. Sorry, got a league title to take out of MH's hands, and the FA Cup hopefully as well along the way. And we're going places with a touch wood. We don't have any injuries, and when Leah comes back, and trying to think, is it Leah? And Leah and Law come back around November, January time, give or take, on their recoveries. Obviously, got Beth and Viv coming back at the start of the season with Kim, with a few other additions in the transfer window as well, because this year isn't going to be the only player we bring in, by the way. So we could be kicking on and bring it fucking on. I'm excited. It's got me excited again. This is a lot. We're showing a lot more intent already this summer than what we did last year. My one criticism of Arsenal, the women's side of things, is last year was, we are renewing contracts. We were doing it last year as well. But in terms of incoming, so there were very few and far between. And it was like, as I say, Gio, she was the last one coming in from Barcelona. It's 19. Lynn loaned her out straight away. So we've actually brought 2 players in, one of them being a goalkeeper to replace Lydia Williams. And it was just like, okay, it was very underwhelming. No wonder the must behave yourself, Tom. Behave yourself, Tom. This ain't that sort of channel. Oh, dear God. I say, I feel like I was saying now, but we are already, that's it. We'll be more intent, and we'll be more forceful, basically. That was a snatch in the chat, sorry. And as I say, Mana's gone. A couple of other players are going as well from the girls' team, like youngsters and all that we've let go. But yeah, that side of things is good. Now, in terms of the men's transfer business, it's been a busy few days. The window's only been open 4 days, and there's been a meltdown already in the Arsenal fan base. We've gone from the first 24 hours we had a bid for Declan, officially for the public to know. Open bid was made public, and it got rejected. It was like 8 million plus 10 in add-ons, but the add-ons weren't apparently realistic. Arsenal, of course, they were realistic. So we went back. Apparently, we have gone back for another bid, but I don't know if it's been rejected or not. The rumours are the second bid was was it? I don't think now 91 mil with an extra 10 mil, so it takes up to 101 million offer. But we don't know if that is true or if it's just someone take the piss or whatever. But the second bid is either way. Second bid is imminent if it hasn't been made already. But the rumours are that it has been made, and it is 101 million. That's including all the add-ons and all that crap. And we haven't heard nothing since in terms of being rejected or whatever. And then we move on to Casado. Oh, Casado, the journey that is it. Oh dear. Basically, Brighton want a bidding war. We don't want to get in one, so we've pulled out because they're basically trying to pull every other club you can possibly think of into a bidding war. And we're just thinking, no, we want to play, but we're not going to get into a bidding war and give you more money than what he's actually valued at, even in the transfer market. You'll get more right here. So we've pulled out. The meltdown from some people, oh my God, it hurts my head. I've had it out with these people, certain people already. Calm down, relax. There's a reason we're stepping away. Do you really want us to get into a bidding war over a player for the entire summer and then pay over the odds? To basically do a Nicolas Pepe, what we did in Nicolas Pepe, get dragged into a bidding war with 6-7 other clubs, overpay for the player and what he's even valued at, and then it turns out to be a flop. Or he comes an injury-prone player. What do you want Arsenal to do in this situation? Do you really want them to drag it, put focus completely on Casado going bidding war all summer? Oh, but we got the man in the end. For what price though? And in the process, what other business that we could be looking at could break down in the process of it all? Is it really worth that much aggro? No. And with all that, we're now being linked with the Southampton midfielder Livier. I can't pronounce his name, but a youngster midfielder similar to Casado, a bit young, I think a year younger. Really highly rated at Southampton and outside of football as well, outside of Southampton as well. And I'll be more interested in that one. If we get Declan and him in, go and get a striker in. Looks like we're going to get Kai Havertz in as well, by the looks of it. We're looking at another right back. Sorry, looking at what else we're looking at? I think we're looking at another centre back as well, which could mean Rob Holding's at the door potentially, maybe. That'd be good business. But this is what, as I say, 4 days into the window. It's not like we're halfway through the window. Pre-season's underway. We've got nothing done in terms of incomings or outgoings. It's 4 days, for fuck's sake. And our pre-season doesn't start until next month. People need to relax and calm down. Give it another week and a half or two. If we come to a week and a half or a week away from pre-season and nothing's been done, don't panic, but you can start voicing your concerns. Obviously, I'd be naive to say don't be stupid. Wait until the actual pre-season get underway and all that. I'll be that naive. I'm not that naive. Even I will be concerned if we get to a week before the the pre-season gets underway and we ain't done nothing. If that's the case, even I'll voice my concerns. But until then, just relax. Take day by day and see what happens. Business will be getting done, but we'll take it day by day. But it's not the end of the world. Now, talking of the end of the world, Kai freaking Havertz. Oh my God. The meltdown. Again, I'm going to say this straight from the off. Doesn't get me off my seat, Kai Havertz, in terms of what we've seen. And then, honestly, that comes from what we've seen majority of his time at Chelsea. But he hasn't played. He's played. Look! If you look at the play that Chelsea got in this when Chelsea brought him in the first place. If you look at the play at Bayer Leverkusen before Chelsea came along, there's a player there. There's clearly a player there. That's that could benefit us. Let's be honest. He's versatile. He can play across the front four. He plays anywhere across the front four, basically. He can play the number 8 role apparently as well. But my thoughts are, if it's true that Arteta wants him, and no matter what, I back it, because that means Arteta. We know what Arteta's like for versatile players anyway, but he'll have a plan in terms of playing him in a specific position when he starts, because he's not going to start in the number 10 role, because that's other guards. He's not going to be on the left because it's Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Trossard as well, and Trossard again, versatile across front three and all that, whatever. So he's not going to play on the right, starting wise on the right, because of Saka. He might even be a backup to Saka. We don't know, or he might play him as a backup to Jesus and sort of ease out Eddie. We don't know, or play him or put him into the number 8. This is for Arteta to show us. If we were to get Kai Havertz in to show us, and then we judge it from that. Everyone needs to relax. Again, not got me out my seat. I wasn't jumping for joy and going, yeah, go on, Arsenal, let's go and get Kai Havertz in. But when I sit back and look at it, I can understand why, because there's a player there. There is a player there that Chelsea. You got to remember how Chelsea play as well. Chelsea are known for a very negative approach to the way their style of playing, all that. Always has been, even from the get go under the Roman Abramovich era up till now. And every time they sort of venture out, because they've got so many players that are used to that similar that defence-minded style of play, when they do bring in a manager that's very attack-minded, it doesn't work. But with Kai Havertz, obviously, look at him. Go rewatch his time up over a couple of years back, then come back. If we can get Leverkusen Havertz, like Tom said, he scored a winning goal in the Champions League final for this shit Chelsea side, by the way. So he turns up in the big games as well. Let's not get caught for club and country as well. For someone so crap. I know Germany are going for a rebuild, but he's in that rebuild. He's in that starting 11 for the rebuild every fucking game when he's available. But I trust Arteta to if he brings him in to bring back that Leverkusen Havertz and not Havertz end up with a Chelsea version of what we've seen at Chelsea. I fully trust it because of what he's done with all these other players. 1 or 2 haven't worked out. They get moved on, but it's to a point now where 9 times out of 10 he brings a player in and it works. I mean, look. So look at Zinchenko. Brought him in. I know Zinchenko was established at Man City and he played predominantly left back. But this is the player that played when he came to City in the first place. He played left wing, got pulled back into left back, and then just as he was about to join Arsenal, wanted to play midfield. Coincidentally, he comes to Arsenal and he's now been converted into an inverted left back, which is basically left back. And when we're on the ball, pushing into the midfield, making a trio instead of a pivot into a trio, basically. So in terms of that, you've got the development, how Saka, in terms of homegrown talent, Saka's developed under Arteta as well, kicked on over the last. Martinelli, his development. Odegaard, now he's settled at a club and he's club captain. Look how he's developed. Granit Xhaka, he's a perfect example actually. Granit Xhaka is the perfect example. Look where Granit was, not just with the fan base and everything that went off when Arteta was coming in, but performance-wise and what we were seeing week in, week out with Xhaka up till last season just gone. The silly yellow cards, the needless fucking red cards, and constantly letting us down and costing us points or whatever because of the red cards and this, that, and the other. Last season, not one stupid yellow card, not one red, and was reliable and scoring goals. and the fans loved Granit, and to the point where the last game of the season we're chanting, "We want you to stay. We want you to stay. Granit Xhaka, we want you to stay." That in itself is a perfect example. Look, what sort of play what sort of performances we were getting with Granit. And it took a couple of years for Mikel to get him a midfield partner bond with Partey for Granit to see this Granit that we've seen at Switzerland and all that. But it was obviously worth the wait. But that's what I'm saying. That itself shows me that if we were to get Kai Havertz in or whoever in, no matter what fans in this fan base or other fan bases think, I have faith in my manager to pick a role for that player and kick on, and turn him into a proper established player that can be relied on, that can give us something in every aspect of the game, be it defence, be it tracking back, or going forward. Chile always going through a rebuild, it seems. I mean, they got since they won the World Cup in 2014, when they went to defend it in Russia, wasn't it? In the Russia World Cup in 2018. It seems from there on in it's been a rebuild after rebuild, and now they're into another rebuild because they failed in the last World Cup. But my point is, even for someone that's so disregarded because of how things are played out for him majority of the time at Chelsea, people need to realise, look at Chelsea, look at their playing style compared to our playing style. He'd be more suited to us because of our playing style, how we play our game. It never, what we saw by Leverkusen, the Leverkusen Kai Havertz, compared to the Chelsea one. Come on, do the math. Relax, see what happens. Early Doors, pick up Early Doors Football TV. It says Havertz doesn't exactly rip up trees, so how would he fit into the country? I don't know. I personally don't know, because again, you've got Saka. Saka's on the right. He's our number one right winger. You've got Martinelli, Trossard, and Smith Rowe going out for the left side of the midfield, but it's Martinelli's role predominantly. Trossard, and I'd assume actually Smith Rowe might actually get pulled back into midfield or something along them lines. You've got Odegaard. He's our creative number 10. First choice. Jesus is the striker because he comes back and does what Arteta wants him to do as a striker in terms of bringing other players in, all that to build up. I don't know, but that's for Arteta. That's for Arteta to tell us, show us. If we do bring Kai Havertz in, it is for Mikel to show us in the pre-season ASAP. So going into the season knowing where his role is going to be. If it's going to be, and the thing is, he won't be a starter straight away either. He'll come in, and you'll have to know he's got to fight. He'll be on the bench basically. He'll be starting from the bench, and you'll have to wait till an opportunity comes where he can push for a starting spot, basically, whether that position may be where he plays. And like you mentioned, it's not just that we're going back into the Champions League for the first time in 6-7 years, guys. How many players currently have we got that play Champions League football for Arsenal or in general in the last 6 or 7 years? Thomas Partey. Ramsdale hasn't. Ben White hasn't. Tomiyasu hasn't actually. No, no, they haven't either. Saliba, was it Marseille? He's got a bit of experience there with Marseille. Was it Marseille with that? Marseille's Europa League, wasn't it? And then Nice. So Saliba hasn't played Champions League football. Jorginho, that's it. Jorginho's played Champions League football. We need it to stay, actually. We do need all these rumours about him potentially going to Serie A. No. We need our Champions League proven players to stay put on. So Partey, Jorginho, Tierney, No, because it's always the Europa League, wasn't it? So Tierney, because obviously even if it was back then when they finished first, they'd have to qualify and always fuck up basically Celtic. Trying to think now. Gabriel hasn't played Champions League football ever. This ain't boding well. This is my point. We do need to bring players in, like with Champions League, and Kai Havertz has Champions League experience in the last few years. He's won, as Tom mentioned before, he scored a winning goal 2 years ago for Chelsea in his first season against City. So he's not only got the experience, but he turns up when it matters. Just obviously with Chelsea, it doesn't happen a lot since then. So Jorginho, Partey. I think Saka hasn't played Champions League, obviously not. Jesus, so that's 3. Jesus is 3, sorry. Smith-Rowe hasn't. Trossard hasn't. Martinelli hasn't. Odegaard has, but not. But a bit part roles, so not really. So that's none of the current squad other than Partey, Jorginho, and Jesus. Remember Jesus. Don't forget Jesus, because obviously we haven't seen and all that. So 3 players in our entire squad. If Xhaka, assuming again, this is assuming Xhaka is definitely going. If Xhaka, as it stands, we've got 4 with Xhaka, but with Xhaka on the verge of going, it's 3. 3 players in an entire squad with only no Champions. Apart from them 3 players, no one else has Champions League football. Experience-wise, we need to bolster our experience in the Champions League. Otherwise, we're going to get absolutely fucking murdered by the teams that are experienced in this competition for the last few years. No matter where they are in the pots as well. We do need that. That's what we need to do. And Kai Havertz is part of addressing. It doesn't completely address it, obviously, but it's a part of addressing that. Getting Gundogan in addresses that as well, because obviously he's been playing there. He's just won the bloody thing. Zinchenko as well. Sorry, that's 4. So we've got 4. Sorry, 4 players. Sorry, that have got Champions League experience in the last few years. Sorry, 4 players. Zinchenko. Completely forgot about Zinchenko for a second there. But it's 4 players. So Kai Havertz would be a 5th. Gundogan, we get him in. That's 6. It's not great still, but it's going in the right direction. That's what we need to address this summer. That's the main thing. Not only being like sort of Declan in and all that. Palaver, but we do need to add players into the squad that have Champions League proven experience. Is that a bad thing? No, because obviously we need it. If we as fans want to see our club take it seriously next season, we need as much experience in that competition as possible to go as far as possible, if not possibly pull off a soccer to win it. We can't just rely on a few players here and there that have got that experience, and the bulk of our squad just to learn on the job, basically. Because the more just before we move on, the more Champions League players, Champions League experience players we have, the more voices are. There's more voices in the changing room, guiding, helping out the ones that haven't been here before, helping them through in difficult moments. So you'll get it in the Champions League. You will get it, no matter what sort of club you are. So, yeah. Arsenal has a small squad, or should I say very little depth and strength. That's the main thing Arsenal look to be addressing. It's not going to be many outgoings this season in terms of the summer window. There's not going to be many. 1 or 2, if that. Xhaka being 1, obviously, by the looks of it. Cedric, obviously, Ainsley's gone for free. Rob Holding, in terms of selling, it could be like 2 or 3 players. In terms of actually selling players on, 2 or 3 players. Mainly, it's going to be the main part of this. This window is going to be literally adding to our depth and strength, basically. They will suffer still in the Cup, Champions League, and fight for top 4. That's what I'm saying. That's why we need to. That's why it seems like we're going to get a couple of players out, but a load of, not a load, but enough to bolster us to what we are currently. Give us more depth, more strength, so we don't get done out like we had done in this season, just gone in terms of the title race and things like that. Get done out in the Champions League against a lesser opposition, so we say. Genk, who Trossard was with between 2012 and 2019, qualified for Champions League in 2012 and 2019. Okay, so he's got a bit of experience at Champions League level with Genk. Okay, that's 5 then. 5 of our current squad have got some sort of experience in the Champions League. We still need more. That's evident, and as mentioned already by early doors, we need to bolster our squad anyway. So we can't just rely. Just because we're signing players doesn't mean that every player we're going to bring in is going to be a starter. By the way, some of them are going to be squad players. Hence why I said about Kyle Havertz before. He ain't going to be a starter. No matter how much we spend on him, it's going to be, you're here, you're a squad player until we say otherwise. You got to fight for your place, basically. You're not going to. That's done, dusted. No guarantees. You have to fight for your place here. It's not Chelsea. We're not Chelsea. We're not going to give you a start just because of your price tag, basically. We're looking to actually achieve things here, not just gift you a place and hope for the best. Our last Champions League match, says Mark, again from the screen now. God. There was a 5-1 defeat to Bayern. Every player has left bar Xhaka, so 99% has gone. So basically Granit's our survivor. Bloody hell! I know El needs a squad player, so he don't know. He didn't play that game, did he? So yeah, but in terms, I think he was injured as well at the time. Shock over there. So Granit goes. It could be in my days. Fair enough. Agree. Arsenal need to buy players, but 2 players at nearly 180 mil doesn't leave you much change. And that's why in terms of Casado, we've sort of because of that and the fact that that Brighton are trying to provoke a bidding war. We're stepping aside and going, we're not getting involved in this. We've got bigger fish to fry potentially. We need to sort our squad out, basically. We can't be wasting our entire summer chasing a player because you want a bidding war, basically, to get over 10 times the amount it's actually worth. I will say this about Casado as well. If he does end up at Chelsea, doesn't that say more about him as a person / player? After making all the noises, he wants to leave Brighton for European football. They're in European football, in Europa League. We can offer Champions League. Chelsea can't have a fuck all in terms of Europe next season. And there's no guarantee they might get European football next season either, because the competition's just getting vast and stronger now. If he goes to Chelsea, doesn't that say more that he's chasing the money? And do we really want a player like that? We've spent years and years and years as a fan base complaining about players coming to us just for the paycheck, just to use us as a stepping stone to something greater. We don't need that process started again by one player going, I'll come to you for now, but if someone else comes on with more money, no matter what their situation is, I'll want out. Quality player. He's a quality player, but if he goes to Chelsea, I'm sorry, it's purely down to a financial package, basically. I suspect Arsenal have a war chest of about 3 to 400 million when you factor in EPL and Champions League revenue. Potentially, we don't know. Again, we don't know. The only people that know are the people at Arsenal, the Cronkies themselves, Vinay, Edu, and Mikel. And all the people that work around them in the transfers itself, the department itself. No one else knows the official budget. But it is what. And again, we are being serious. We ain't signed no one yet. There's only 4 days in the window. People need to just go, breathe, relax. It is going to get done. Look how we did last year in reaction to coming fifth. We went straight out there, got Jesus in, brought in Turner, brought in Zinchenko, amongst a few others, but we got it all. Basically, our business was done before pre-season got underway. The bulk of our business was done before pre-season. Zinchenko came in a week into our pre-season in the States. Aside from that, everything else is done. Then when Zinchenko was brought in, I can't remember. I think now. I can't remember if we brought anyone else in actually after Zinchenko. But either way, I might have some point. We for the first time in years, we went out and got our business done early and got our squad ready for the season ahead before even pre-season got underway by Zinchenko. Even Fabio Vieira was brought in before fucking pre-season actually thinking about it. So we were aggressive then, and we're making the same movements / noises this season. So what do people want? What more do people want? They want Arsenal to keep buying players every day of the window till the window closes. Will that make people happy? Well, certain people happy anyway. Just saw Hawk. Just saw Eddie on a jet ski with a soggy cigar in his gob. Not one Brighton player performed better outside of their system. Well, big questions on McAllister, obviously, World Cup winner and all that. Nothing to do with being a team of Messi, but okay. Big question on him, obviously, going from Brighton to Liverpool now. He slots into the system. Again, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, Liverpool will be back next season. There's nothing saying currently that's going to be the guarantee. But they had a good end to the back end of the season, and they still have the same issues. The defence is not only is their midfield an issue, the defence has become an issue now. In terms of aging and getting on now, needs rejuvenating, rejigging. So not only is the midfielder an issue in terms of an issue that's been going for like 2 seasons now, going into a 3rd season potentially, that they haven't really addressed. The owners of the club itself have neglected that. Now going on 3 seasons, that needs addressing completely. That whole midfield in terms of starters and squad players needs addressing in this window, and the defence does as well, for the same reason as the midfield does now. So it's not a guarantee that Liverpool are going to be just bounce back and be a title challenger for Man City next season, and that's it. But people want the media and fans alike want to show Arsenal disrespect and say we're going to fall off and all that. It's down to the club now to go. They can think what they want. We're doing our business. Get the players in. We want to get Declan, the guy from Southampton. If it's Kai Havertz. And they've another striker, an actual goal scoring striker, with all due respect to Jesus, and a right back and a centre back. If we address every position I've just mentioned and the players I've mentioned, we get them players in and address the other areas I mentioned there, we're cooking for next season. Just wait to see what happens. It's gonna be absolute scenes week in, week out at Arsenal. Rumour has it Stan's provided 230 mil for transfers due to his states teams doing so well. Would have asked all the clubs, all the sports teams he owns now, him and his son own, because it's KSC the company. But yeah, he's slowly handing it down to Josh. But of all the sporting clubs they own now, all the other sporting clubs they own have won their prospective league title of that particular sport. But the Denver Nuggets, obviously, last week, they won the NBA. Got the LA Rams in the last few years, won the Super Bowl. You've got his ice hockey team winning the Stanley Cup last year as well. And I think literally every sport. I can't remember the other franchise he owns, but they've all the other franchises he owns, and every sporting franchise he owns in the States have gone on to. They've now, with a similar project, by the way, gone on to win their respective leagues' titles, respectively, of their sport. We are the last team standing, haven't done that under their ownership. So the pressure's now even on them even more to complete the set, basically. And what better way to do it with us being the last man standing, win the league title, and then push on again for Champions League, etc., etc. Got Chris in the chat as well. Slowly injecting quality is the best way to go. But you do, I know I'm assuming you're on about Liverpool here, or Arsenal in general. I'm talking about from a Liverpool perspective. I don't know what your thoughts on Liverpool are in terms of you've got so much work to do. It's not a guarantee just because you had a good end of the season that's going to carry over for next season. That's going to bail you out because there's a lot needed addressing, not just midfield now. As I say, it's the defence. Your defence ain't getting any younger. You're now moving your right back, what has been your right back or right wing back, whatever, in Trent into midfield. So you now need to go and get a right back or wing back, whatever you want to call it. You need, and Van Dijk's not been the same since his injury. He's getting slow. He's getting older. Gomez is constantly injured. You got, and who's up? Matip, I think if he's still there, he's not getting any younger either. Declan Rice will be incredible signing, and Havertz I'm baffled by, but it's got an Odegaard feel. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, as I say, I wasn't fooled by the news, but unlike others, I don't overreact straight away. I sit back, I soak it in, and think about why are we going through it. Look at his previous club as well. Has he ever shown any sort of This is for any player we've ever been linked with. And it's just, again, if we can get him in, if we do get him in, and we can tap into his Leverkusen days, we've got a player on our hands. But it depends on what position he wants to play him in as well. But he's going to be a squad player, like it or not, Kai. If you come across this ever, you will be initially a squad player. You have to work your bollocks off at this club to get yourself into a starting 11 team. It's not going to be a guarantee like it is at Chelsea. Fingers of advice. There's going to be a couple of other clubs putting bids in soon. So if they're not quick enough, here we have another club more likely City. The thing is, unlike Mudrik, it seems like Declan is digging his heels in and saying I want to go, yeah, but it's Arsenal. Arsenal's the only team I want to go to. Anyone else comes in, I don't want to go to them. Do not make me. I will not go. I will refuse. So that goes in our favour as well. So, and as I say, there has been rumours in the last 2 days or so that we have made our second bid. Nothing. Again, it's only rumours. There's nothing confirmed by David Ornstein or Fabrizio. Mainly David Ornstein. Nothing. As I say, nothing officially confirmed by them, by the actual journo side of things in the UK or in Fabrizio's mindset in Italy. But that is a rumour that we've made our second bid, and it's over 101 mil altogether. So we are being aggressive in that side of things as well. We ain't messing about there. So it shows, and while we're doing that, it shows the player that our intent in bringing him in. He'll keep digging his heels in. As long as we keep doing that, he'll keep digging his heels in. Be interested to know how much money Kroenke's invested in the whole team. In their teams, respectively, obviously, it is more than 500 mil he's invested in Arsenal. Of course, it is. Especially the NFL with the Rams. You've got to think the stadium, the financial input into the stadium they've done there. Then just obviously, as I say, the players, the coaching, etc., and everything else around it. Everything will happen from next Tuesday or Wednesday till the end of June, when the players' contract expires, or they are told to leave by mutual consent. Exactly, Emerson. Exactly. I feel Rice is so determined by a gentleman's agreement. Then why would it go to a bidding war? No, I think in terms of the rumours about Man City sniffing around and waiting to see if we pull out. I think that's how it's been put across. That City are waiting for us to pull out of negotiating with West Ham and walk away from Declan, and then they're going and getting themselves. It's how it sounds like at the moment. But otherwise, if it was a bidding war, we'd pull out. We're going to get into because we're not doing that. We haven't done that for years under this setup. Now we've learned from the Nicolas Pepe situation. Come on, look at that. We got dragged into a bidding war over Pepe with 7 or 8 other clubs. And yes, we've got the player, but look what happened. And I think in terms of obviously Man City being mentioned is just West Ham, David Sullivan's way of making Arsenal pay the money that he wants for the player, even though the player's got 1 year left on his contract as of June, end of this month. He's going to the last year of his contract. Rice's heart was set on Chelsea, wasn't it? A few years back, yeah, when they were. Well, that's a rumour anyway. Went back when when Chelsea were actually competing, and Champions League and all that, qualify for Europe and all that. But then I think the main factor that's got in our favour is that they've fallen off massively last season, and because of what he's done at West Ham this season in terms of winning the Conference League and getting that taste of European success, even though it's Conference League, he doesn't want to wait potentially a year or two to have that again. So he wants to go to a club now. He wants to stay in London, but a club now that is in Europe that can give him that. And aside from staying at West Ham, because he wants to stay in London, the only other option is Arsenal. And the fact that we've made our intentions clear since January, and we've been ongoing talks between him and these people, unlike other clubs, he's more swayed towards us. So, oh dear. I have no idea. In terms of it, I know what you're on about. It's on. Everyone's seen it. I don't know. It's just a YouTube thing they've added on, and yeah, you click on it, it'll give you options of different things. But yeah, but no idea why. No idea whatsoever. But it is. Look, it is what it is. But with that, guys, lastly, our last subject is quickly last night's game. England beating Malta in the European qualifiers for next year's Euros, winning 4-0 away from home. Saka getting an assist for the first goal, even though it was a known goal, got an assist for that. Harry Kane from the penalty spot. Trent as well scored an absolute belter from midfield to make it 2-0, and Harry Kane was 3-0. And then Callum Wilson scored from the penalty spot as well in the second half to make it 4. Saka did pick up a knock by the looks of it in the first half. He got taken off at half time. By then I had switched off. And as soon as I saw Saka was going off, I was like, okay, I know Declan's playing, but bye, I'm off. What we expected, really, in terms of result and performance, really. Didn't create much. Even though we were 3-0 up at half time, we didn't create much. We just chances fell to us. We took them in the end. But more so from the first goal to Trent's goal for 2-0, it was the worst spectacle of football I've ever seen. Put it that way. And we watched England last year, guys. So at the end of last season, so that says a lot. But yeah, in terms of result, this is what we expected. We've won 3 out of 3 now. We're top of our group. We've got North Macedonia on Monday night at Old Trafford, just because, money-wise. We'll win that. So we'll pretty much be on the verge of a halfway point of qualifying, and we'll be basically be in our hands. Basically, we'll be asked to bring us far away in terms of qualifying for the Euros next year. Go back into the chat quickly. Well, this was at Chelsea. Yeah, it was at the Chelsea Academy initially, and then they let him go. He then went to West Ham, where joined their academy and got brought through there. And yeah, hence his affinity to West Ham as well. But yeah, Rice was born in Kingston, actually. Born and raised in Kingston, so hence why he supported Chelsea growing up and was at the Chelsea Academy. briefly. But yeah. Anyway, time for me to go. Hope to catch you soon again. Take care, everyone. No worries. If you haven't already, by the way, do subscribe. Do smash that like button as well before you go. And if you can, share the content around with all your friends and all that. Football, either Arsenal fans or football fans in general. Please share with them and bring them over to the channel as well. And get our numbers back up as well, because YouTube is still not fixing their glitch. And it's doing my head in slightly. I see the media falling over Trent Alexander in midfield for fuck's sake. We're playing more. Exactly. It was Malta for fuck's sake. Exactly. As I say, it's Malta. It wasn't fucking Italy. It wasn't Spain. It wasn't Holland. It wasn't Germany. It wasn't France. Oh dear. It is what it is. If you leave the chat and go back in, it comes up with a message about subscribers only mode. Yeah, because I've got it on subs only mode. So no idiots coming in. They have to come and they have to sub basically. But it raises the chat, so it's not obscured by the love heart. Fair enough. But I don't know what the love heart. That's nothing to do with me. That's a YouTube thing, by the way. That love heart thing. That's on all channels. Whatever channel you go on when they're live. But with that, as I say, not much really to say about the England game, because it was a foregone conclusion. What we expected, we won 4-0. I'm slightly concerned about Saka, because obviously he took a knock and was taken off at half time. Aside from that, is what we expected, really, if being brutally honest. And in answer to a question earlier from Nemeth, by the way, yeah, this is the goalkeeping top for next season, the home goalie top for next season. It's going to be clingy to me now because of fucking humidity in this country. It's fucking awful. Oh dear. But with that, guys, we are going to tap out now. Hope you've enjoyed today's show. We'll hopefully be back hopefully tomorrow. As it stands, the quiz is going ahead tomorrow, but I'm waiting to. Me and Mike, and a couple of others are waiting to hear back about others joining us. If not, we'll probably move to another date, just because obviously it's Father's Day and others, obviously family commitments and all that. So potentially it's in the scheduling book for tomorrow, but it could be moved to a later date. I'll let you know as soon as I know anything on that. Other than that, I'll be back soon. In terms of I might even do a watch along on Monday, even though it's in England v North Macedonia. I might even do a watch along for that, just to give you guys some content and catch up with you guys over what happens over the course of the weekend. Other than that, in terms of transfers and all that, anything happens significantly for the men and women's teams, we'll do a show on that whenever it may happen, respectively. Aside from that, we'll see you soon. As always, take care of yourselves and up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.